Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Eastvale. My name is Molly Courtson, and I'm the city's communications officer. And I'm sure you can tell that today we're in a little bit of a different setup. I guess you can only tell if you're watching, but if you are watching, we're in a different setup. We've never sat like this, and it's because we're doing a really special episode, and we have a really special guest today, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Trujillo. I am the city's communications specialist. I'm super excited to be here. I feel like I'm always behind the scenes, so actually being on the podcast is something that I don't know. I never honestly thought about me actually being on the podcast, but I'm super excited and pumped to see a little bit more about residents and their questions, and so we're super excited to see and answer those type of questions.
Mm-hmm. And Emily is a big trooper because I actually asked her to be on the podcast like 2 seconds ago. We actually had some other guests lined up and we had a change of plans. So Emily and I are doing something fun today where we have so many questions asked by our residents. We're both in the communications division. And so we are doing things like the website, we're writing the press releases, we do State of the City, but we also do, and mostly Emily does, the social media. She runs a lot of the social media. And so we're always seeing basically like the same questions every single day. So we also put on our story, we said, send in your questions that you want answered. So we actually got like 1 million responses. And so today we're going to answer some of your questions. So one of the very first questions that we got actually was, where do we find the podcast? How do we know when it's coming out? The way you can find the podcast is it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and it's on YouTube. You can just look up Good Morning Eastvale and it will come up. And we release it on the first of every single month. So if you're ever wondering when the next episode is coming out, it will be the first of whatever the next month is. So make sure you tune in, subscribe. You can send in your thoughts to either of us. And we'd love to have like thoughts and feedback. So I'm going to, I guess, look through some of the questions and maybe like pick one, send it over to Emily. So, okay. So now that you know where to find the podcast, I'm going to we're just going to look through the questions, I guess, and kind of pick one. So something that we saw a lot about was, what are the like upcoming restaurants and shops? So do you want to talk about what we have coming to the city?
Yes. So I'm actually kind of intrigued with all the new restaurants and shops that we have coming up. So I have 6 in total that I can share with you guys. The first one being Olive Garden. I'm not sure if you guys have already seen. It's nearby the freeway. It's at the station. Another one that we have is Crack Boba. For Crack Boba, I feel like it's really cool because there's only a couple boba shops here. I myself love boba, so I'm really excited to be trying different flavors and also like the different type of toppings that each place offers. So Crack Boba is coming up. We also have one called Cravings Food Hall. So this one actually has been opened, but it has individual businesses in the food hall. So with that, it's just kind of like little by little, you're going to start seeing more and more businesses pop up with that. So that's something obviously really unique that we have here in the city. And we're just continuing to see more individual businesses open up with that.
And really quick, that's kind of like a Haven City, like, or like an Anaheim packing district for people who don't know. There's like a ton of different things in it. Some things are in it already and some things aren't.
Yeah. And I feel like those type of places are really cool because like, let's say you're craving in specific Thai food, but for example, like your partner or your family or whoever you're with is craving something completely different. So I think it's just like a really cool hub spot to just kind of discover different types of foods and see like whatever you're craving. Also, you can just share different plates. So I feel like that's something really cool and unique that we're going to be having soon.
Yeah, and it's also attached to the 99 Ranch Market. So people can like go in there, they can shop, get groceries, like do whatever, and their kids can eat, their like spouse can eat, whatever. Or you can get groceries, get food, get out. But it's like all there together, so that's cool.
Yeah. A couple more that we have is going to be Taco Bell, China Bros, and lastly, we have one called Tamaya Japanese Restaurant. So I'm really excited for all 3 of those, or actually 6 in total of those. But yeah, we are happy to announce that we're going to have those upcoming restaurants in the near future.
And something too that I feel like we should address, because we get this comment like literally every single day on every single like platform that we have, is one specifically, why don't we have a Trader Joe's? And then also, just why don't we have X, Y, or Z? We talked about this on the debunking misconceptions episode. Like, why don't we have this or this or this? And Alex and Gus did a really good job at kind of like getting in the weeds of answering it. But I said this, and again, I'll like repeat it. It really just goes back to, we cannot force anybody to come here. And so like in the city, we have so many great things. Like we have great spots. We have great like demographics, you could say, of we have like a great young population. We have great like median income, all of those things. But But at the end of the day, all we can do is like ask them. You know, we
Yes.
can never like drag them here. And so we get so many comments like, why don't we have Trader Joe's? Why don't we have this? We all would love Trader
Yes.
Joe's.
We really would. I feel like it would just make the city itself more diverse. And obviously that is what we want as a city that's very new and upcoming. And I just feel like how Molly just said, like we can pray and hope and ask them like as many times as we can. But at the end of the day, it really just depends on them and if they want to come. So
Yeah. And so I feel like I'm going to start saying it on every episode because we've addressed it on episodes, we've addressed it on social media. And again, like between the two of us, we're doing the website, the press releases, the newsletters, like we're doing so many things. And it's the number one question we see is specifically the Trader Joe's, but also just, you know, why don't we have these upscale businesses or why don't we have certain things? And again, we are doing everything we can to get them here. Our economic development team is like literally the hardest working people like on God's green earth, but all they can do is like ask. Yeah. We can never like drag somebody by the arm into the city. So, you know, we'll keep trying and we'll keep working at it, but it's really just about elevating the rest of the city as a whole because then that encourages them to come. Like the better the city gets, the more that they want to be here. So that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. So anyway, I know that was like maybe I just kind of like jumped into that, but I just felt like I kind of wanted to talk about it. Something too that kind of leads into this is a lot about like the downtown we have a lot of questions about what's going on with the downtown, and obviously we're quite a few years out from it being finished. Like we've already had our groundbreaking. We had it in March of 2023, which was awesome, but you know, it's going to take like years and years and years, probably like a full decade before everything is completely finished, but things will come in phases. There's like 4 phases. And so hopefully in the downtown, like we'll get new businesses and different like fun things.
Right. And something that I want to add about the downtown is that we recently actually had our State of the City, and there was clips. They're also on YouTube if you want to see them. But there's clips of like how our downtown is somewhat going to look like. We have an idea of how every like building or certain areas of it is going to look like. So feel free to always jump back into our YouTube and see that. But not only that, but we also frequently talk about it right now within our city council meetings. There's just so many information that I feel like a lot of people don't see. And just going to those meetings, you have a better idea of what is actually going on.
So literally anything you want to know about downtown, we have like so many questions of people being like, what's going on? Anytime we know anything, like we immediately put it on the website. So
and on our social media channels too.
Yes, Emily will tell you, we edit the website every single day.
Yes.
Basically every second of every single day. So whenever we know information too, it's not like we're slow to put it out. Like if we haven't given an update, it's because we don't know the update. As we know stuff, we are doing our best to tell the community. But something too that I want to like say is that obviously we have so many different platforms because we have like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We have the podcast. We have What's New Eastvale, press releases. Like there are 1,010,000 things. Like we also have the billboards and SUFA. And we do that again, not to be annoying, but it's because we want the community to like be involved. But also it's because we want you guys to be able to kind of pick and choose, like, what do you like? You know, on Instagram and Facebook, like we're giving pretty detailed information, but it's not going to be like, you know, 20-page papers of information because no one wants to read that on Instagram. On Twitter, you can put like 3 words basically.
So limited.
So yeah, so if you like that like quick content, then follow the social media. And if you like the really in-depth content, then read What's New Eastvale. If you want really, really like behind the scenes, like behind the curtain, like Wizard of Oz level content, watch the podcast. Like that's what the podcast is for. But they all serve a different purpose, and it's not ever to like beat a dead horse. It's just because we want the community to be well served. So
I do want to say something that I actually really love about social media is that I always pretty much create content. I just feel like it's very exciting to pretty much create different types of content for either events that we have or special meetings that we might have. And I just think it's like a really cool aspect into trying to inform community members that might not always want to check our website or press releases that we might have. So it's just a quick and easy way to inform residents while also keeping it kind of more on a creative side. I personally love creating social media content because I just feel like it's fun. I feel like every day I come in and I'm like, okay, what am I going to create today? I have no idea what I'm going to create. Obviously, I do have like an idea, but I'm just kind of curious and seeing like the whole design process, or sometimes we're starting to make videos about stuff to give our residents a better idea about Eekville and overall just all the events that we have that our community services does. Speaking about agencies, I do want to talk a little bit about the JCSD. I feel like there's always some confusion about that.
Yeah, so for everyone that doesn't know, JCSD handles different things in the city. They are a special district that actually came to Eastville before we were even incorporated. They've been around a lot longer than the city has actually, and they currently oversee like things like the water, the frontages, the parks. JARPD also has a few of the parks. But that's because, again, before the city even incorporated, we needed parks and we needed water and we needed sewer services. And so the special district came in and took them over. And, they have had the funds and the capacity to take those things over long before we did. And so, as much as we would love to, like have our own parks, and we're hoping to do that in our downtown, at this time, JCSD actually oversees all of those. And they also do have their own events. And so, like with JCSD and really with like the school district, with all these things, it's never us trying to throw them under the bus because we love JCSD. They have beautiful parks, they give really phenomenal services, but it's really, we're just here to explain to people again so that if you have questions or comments or feedback, that you are getting to the right agency. So we love JCSD and we think that they do great work. But if you have questions about the parks or the frontages or your water bills, you'll have to go to them. JCSD also hosts many events in the city. So like Picnic in the Park, that huge like summertime, sort of like 4th of July-ish event, they actually host that. They host the Easter event. There's a lot of different events that they're hosting. They do their own Christmas event, I believe. So it's just important to know because if you go to an event and you have a great time or maybe you have feedback, if you send that feedback to us, that's not necessarily going to get to them. In the same way that like if you have thoughts about the parks or whatever, if you send that to us, like sometimes we can get it to them and we're doing our best. But of course, the easiest way is always to get it directly to them. So we just want to always inform our residents about like who JCSD is, what do they do, what is the reason. And again, they've been around a lot longer than we have. And so, they're doing a great job with everything that they have right now and we appreciate them. And if you have great things to say about them or maybe like some other feedback, just make sure you reach out to them about those different issues. So.
Right. And I'm sure they would love to hear like, oh, I love this park. It's so pretty and nice and clean. I just feel like they do a really good job in taking care of their parks. And obviously they just want the best for our community members.
So, obviously we have so many questions here. We're seeing so many questions every single day, but we don't want to stay here and like answer them all night long. But again, you guys are always welcome to reach out to us here on the podcast, people at the city. You can call, email, anything that you kind of need from us. But we just wanted to make sure we spent some time addressing the comments we are constantly seeing, because it's really like the same things over and over. And so we just wanted to make sure that you didn't feel like we weren't listening to or hearing you. So I think before we wrap, we'll do sort of like our fun outro that we usually do.
Okay.
If you don't care.
Yes,
okay.
Let's
so
do it.
We obviously wrote these questions because we on the podcast, but we try not to like think about them beforehand. So we can I just put people on the spot and I don't even know if you know these questions either. So.
Probably not because they always switch up. So
yes, I did new ones. So, okay. So to end the video, I'm going to ask a few questions, like fun ones, and we'll both answer them.
Okay.
Okay. What one word would you use to describe Eastvale?
New. I would say new because, it is a new city. And I feel like with new, it kind of is a synonym of clean because the city is super clean compared to different cities. Sorry to put anything under the bus, but I would say new because, pretty much everything is new here. Obviously, we did have a lot of dairy farms and we have more shopping centers that just kind of overtook that. And I just feel like I really liked it. I always passed here driving and I was like, wow, like this is Eastvale. And I feel like a lot of people just
didn't know.
Right.
But we're getting on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to say growth for obvious reasons. And that's all I'm going to say. I think growth.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. What's your funniest City of Eastvale memory?
I believe someone on the podcast said this. Oh man, I really don't remember who said this, but I was there. I think it was City Manager Mark Orm. He said that our mayor, Todd Rigby, he came into City Hall and he was dressed in like all his sports type of attire. I don't know why he came in. Obviously, he came in for something that he needed, but he came in like this full-on sports attire, and I was just so caught off guard because I was literally just doing the mail, and I just see him. He's like, everyone do jumping jacks. Everyone just start doing like random exercise.
Squats.
Yeah, squats, I think. And I was just like, okay. So it just kind of completely caught me off guard, and I did not expect that at all. But I feel like that was like my funniest because everyone was just so confused because he literally ran inside City Hall and he just started going up to everyone in their like little space in the cubicle.
And his little running shorts and
Yes,
everything.
his running shorts, his little headband, like he was full on.
Be serious. No, I have a video about that, of him doing that. I'm gonna like
really?
release it one day. Just like a thread of him doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know what my funniest memory is. I feel like I've worked here a few years and everything. I've like laughed so much and like had so many funny things. The Eekville that was in 2022. I was working the maze as like a tour guide, and we were taking our then council member Brandon Plott through the maze, and I don't know if you guys have seen Brandon, but like he's working out, like he's like he's known as kind of like the buff council member, I guess. I don't know, but obviously the maze is kind of spooky, and so we had one of our directors. He was like in a mask, and he was like chasing Brandon around, and he was like legitimately scared, like he was like scared, like he was a little kid, and I just thought it was so funny that he's like this like macho like council member, like so highly esteemed, all of these things, and he was like more scared than any of the kids that I saw. So I thought that was really funny. Okay, last question. What are you the most proud of? Like what work or assignment or like just your time here at Eastvale, what have you been the most proud of?
I would say my favorite part would just be overall having growth within our social media platforms, because not only is it just informative to you guys, but it's also highlighting all the great things that our community members have done here in Eastvale. And I think it's just a great aspect in just having our community more connected and knowing what's going on with each other.
I love that. I would say I kind of have two. I know that's kind of cheating, but I guess one would be the 2023 State of the City, because the first one I was kind of like in charge of was the 2022 one, and I thought that was really great. And I know, again, the 2023 one was a little bit hectic with a lot of people, but I think, for me, that's so exciting to see it go from having 300 people in 2022 to then like 1,000 people in 2023. And I just heard so much good feedback about how the program itself was so fun and it was interactive, and we had all those videos, and it was like everything that I had envisioned it to be. And it's, like Emily said, we start planning for that in March. And so it's literally like so much of my year is consumed with that. And so to see it be so successful and to have so many residents come and enjoy it, that was like so exciting for me. It was very like redemptive, I guess. And like it made all the hard work feel worth it. And then of course the podcast, because when I started in 2021, I was like pushing for it so hard, and I've talked about it before, but this was like really like my passion project in this studio. It's like in this random room. But like we built this studio with our bare hands, literally. Like we put up this drywall and we put up this wallpaper, and so it's just been like so awesome to see, it go from just like a little thought or idea to like where it's at now of being on all these platforms and having so many people. So I'm very proud of the podcast. So thanks for everyone who's like tuning in and making it a success.
Yes.
So anything else?
I just want to say, like, we are here for you guys, especially for our division, for communications. I feel like the best way to reach out to us is obviously through social media. And I feel like we want you to know that we are listening. We see your comments. We see what you guys have and any ideas that you guys have. And I just really want to highlight or emphasize that we are listening to you guys. We're not ignoring you guys. So just keep in mind, like, whatever feedback that you might have for us, we are more than happy to share that with our team and just pretty much get the best that we can for you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in. And before we leave, we do have one more thing. We have some special guests today that are helping out the crew. So if you guys want to come in, you guys can we'll let you guys sit with us. Yes. We have some special crew members today. So you guys want to say hi? Did you guys have fun?
Yes.
I know we had like a long filming day, but thank you guys for hanging in. Do you guys want to say who you are?
I'm Lincoln, and that's Tech.
Well, thank you guys for coming in to say hi. They've been working the cameras all day, so if you like the podcast, make sure you give them a shout out and thank them for holding it down for us today. So anyway, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.